Thanks for having me, guys. I got a whole bunch of stuff to cover with y'all today. So I'm going to go through the checklist for what to expect for the summer from the events program and being on the coordinator side of things so that way you guys feel included, obviously, in everything. And just let me know if there's questions afterwards. Pretty straightforward. So whether you're a veteran or you're a newbie going into this summer, I want to make sure you guys all have a big part of here today is me sharing the summer calendar with you guys as far as the events go. You guys have all of, I would imagine most of your manager events pretty much set at this point. So I want to give you guys the event side of things too. So that way, if you have people currently on the team, you don't have overlap happening. And then also at the same time that you know what to look forward to into the fall based on your summer. Okay. So with that being said, a couple checklist items we're going to cover. First thing is I'm just going to recap the recruiting timeline. So that way you guys are reminded of all my roles are with the summer with recruiting your people and putting them on the events team. Second thing I'll hit today is the workshops. I think most of you guys know this already, but just cover our bases. I'll be doing a weekly workshop for Gulf Coast Division this summer where I'm going to be working with your baby reps across the division, teaching them how to sell more Cutco, running a phone jam before and after, doing what I do. So I'll hit that next. And then the third part here is I want to make sure you guys are reminded of all the team meeting dates we have this summer, basically through the end of August for your people that are currently on the events team. And the last one in August is the big one, like when all the new guys join in. I'll get you guys the training dates, so you guys have all that. And then just a couple of notes here to look forward to for the fall, because obviously that's a significant part of the events team business with our area. So let's go ahead and get right to it. A big chunk of this is going to be the recruiting timeline. So I want to make sure you guys remember there's three major conferences. Obviously, there's the division meeting to kick off SC1. There's SC1 itself, and then obviously SC2. So I just want to make sure you guys know at all three of these conferences, I'm going to do a few things. So number one, I'm going to have my entire booth set up. So I'm going to do what I normally do, get the backdrop, have a nice booth set up with my cookware, everything going on to draw your people so they can get a visualization of what the events team is and what we're about. Here's a part where I need from you guys, like always, is to make sure if you haven't done so, you need to add a slide to your interview and to your training, to your advanced training, to your team meetings, all that stuff where you're working with your reps to make sure the events program is in front of them constantly. So one of the biggest things that's going to help with recruiting a lot is planting seeds earlier. And so what we don't want to have happen is near the end of the summer, it's like a last minute thing. We're like, oh shoot, I forgot to tell you, blah. Like this events team thing's going on, go to training. Like we want to make sure that they are anticipating and looking forward to it. So for all of you guys that are running an office this summer, want to make sure you guys remember that one, promote me and promote the events program heavily. It needs to be done at pretty much every function you have during the summer. Okay. If you're prone to forgetting certain things, do what I do and just put things on agendas. And then once they're on agendas, I just read through my notes and that way everything gets promoted as it should be. Okay. So I'll have my booth. I'll meet your reps, bring your reps to me. I'll be on some of y'all's conference calls this summer to remind you guys when those events get a little closer. But the main thing is to remember division meeting SC1, SC2. I'm going to have all that stuff pretty consistent. Okay. In particular about these conferences. At SC1, this is very massive for the recruiting process. At SC1, I'm going to make sure to still run my 2 workshops. So a couple things I want to make sure to bring up based on last year's SC1 that I want to make sure we are able to fix for this year. Number one is I'm going to run a 5K workshop for all the reps that are over 5K in sales can attend it. And if they attend, I'm going to teach them how to do an ultimate upgrade demo. So don't worry about me teaching like 2 advanced things for your people. I'm going to keep it very training manual focused, but I'm going to have a handout that I hand to them to teach them how to actually do an upgrade when they run across people on demos who have a set of Cutco. So they don't just sell like one cheese knife, they can potentially sell an upgrade or maybe a builder upgrade or something like that. It's a really easy transition for a rep at that level to start learning. Here's what I'm going to ask, or I guess I'll do this after this. I'm going to do a service call training. So the service call training is going to be for the current branch managers and assistant managers this summer. So here's who we don't want. We don't want any brand new reps. No brand new reps at service call training their first summer. They have demos and other things they need to focus on for now. But all branch managers should attend, and all current assistant managers this summer should attend as well. And what I mean by current assistant managers, I don't mean someone that starts and then they become an AM 2 weeks later and then they attend this. I'm going to trust you guys to be like, hey, any assistant managers that have like some level of being around Cutco since like the spring, like I know Cody has a lot of people from college stationary right now that started in December, January kind of time frame. Those people are totally qualified to attend that. But no one that starts like this summer basically is what I'm getting at. So 5K workshop, all the reps that are at 5K more can attend. I'm going to get all of their information. I'm going to meet a lot of them. And at the end of the workshop, I'm going to promote what the events program is and why it's so important to them. Like I'm going to really share that really strongly. Like I said, right after that, I'll run service call training for the branch managers and AMs. Here's something I want to ask, because unfortunately this happened to me last year, and stuff happens, not the end of the world. But I can't stress enough how important it means to me that if we have a workshop that starts at 9, 9:30, 10 o'clock for a conference, and if I'm coming from Austin and I'm there and I'm all by myself and it starts at 9 and the first person to show up till like 9:15, 9:20, it makes it difficult for me to like fully do that workshop for the people in front of me. And also I would ask that it just sets a bad precedent as well for like any future things they're supposed to attend. So if you guys do me a favor this summer, whenever I run these workshops, we'll get the times, I'll get with Kathy and everything. And once we get those times set for you guys, I want to make sure that if your people are scheduled to attend it, they need to be there on time. If they show up after a certain period of time and I'm already running the workshop, it's going to be hard for me to justify keeping them there for it because they've missed already like the first X amount of time. So hopefully you guys understand where I'm coming from. I would like that not to happen again this summer. Okay, so make sure your people show up when they're supposed to show up. Okay. And then SC2, pretty straightforward. Like I said, my booth setup, I'll meet your people, all that kind of good stuff. Okay, so that's the first part. Second part here is going to be on workshops. So I'll make sure you guys have wide open ears for this part too. So I know I haven't done this with Gulf Coast in the past, and I'm really excited to do them this summer. And one of my strengths I feel like I have as a coordinator is working with baby reps, especially the ones that are between 1 and 10K in sales, like that pre-events team stuff. So a couple things that you guys can get assurance from me. One, I'm not going to overteach them. The agendas that I have, I use the same agendas I have for like 4 or 5 years. Selling sets, dropping down, selling accessories, upselling, phone time, or like phone skills, I should say, like how to actually be better on the phone. And then recommendations. That's like the 6 main food groups of like a baby rep their first year. And so I'm going to teach them the bare bones of that. I have handouts for those that I can, that I'll have, like I'll divvy them out and I'll attach them to like a document you guys will have access to and all that. Here are the dates that I'm able to do these workshops. So I want to make sure you guys have them all for you. May 23rd, May 30th. This one here, I know I was just able to get this one, Kathy, but on this one, June 4th, I usually do them on Thursdays for you guys, but that particular week I'm taking that day. So I can do May 23rd, May 30th, June 4th. It's a Tuesday, I believe. June 20th, June 27th, July 11th, July 18th, and July 25th. I'll package these together. I'll put that out to you guys as well, but I want to make sure you have them in the meantime. For the times each day, it's going to be the same time. It's going to be 8th.
Sorry, I keep talking and I'm muted. The one after June 4th, what was the one between June 4th and June 20th?
I don't have one in that one just because of SC1.
Okay.
Dante, I'll put whatever slide you want me to put in whatever you want me to put it if you send it to me. I can make it also. too,
Wait,
though,
what, because of
but-
SC1? Oh, because you won't be available?
Yeah, I will be like all hands on deck during SC1. That's like my big push.
Okay. June 20th is still part of SC1. You're good for that?
Yeah, my schedule allows for that one though.
Okay. Oh,
So just to recap, you guys have the dates, May 23rd and 30th. June is the 4th, the 20th, and the 27th. July is 11, 18, 25. Cool. So they're going to be from 8 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. And here's how the structure is going to be. I have 3 parts. The first part, so for about the first 20 to 30 minutes, or about 30 minutes, I'm going to promote to them that their objective is to do 20 calls in 30 minutes. They will get their demos booked. Then I'm going to run a teachings part, the actual workshop itself. So for about 30 to 45 minutes, somewhere in that range, I'll be teaching them. And then the last 15 to 30 minutes is gonna be me doing another phone jam with them. So again, 15 to 30 minutes, I'm gonna promote 20 calls to them. And then when we get to about 9:30 or so, I'm gonna have them text you guys all of their demo times that they have booked. So that way you guys have them for your PDI stuff. I'll have a running spreadsheet so you guys can actually see like, you know, how many demos we're getting booked and stuff throughout the summer. So if you guys ever need to reference that, you can obviously reference that. And then I will promote the events team to them really briefly, just as a recap. So it helps with recruiting, helps with their development. Obviously, I get my face in front of them a lot sooner, and I'm sure you guys appreciate it because I'm gonna make sure I teach them right and make sure they get demos booked as well. So you guys will have all my stuff here pretty soon. I'll put it all together in a package for you guys and update it. So that's the workshops. Team meetings. So this is just for the summer for the current event team reps. So we already had our May meeting. We do have one on, and I'll go through the time here in a second, but the dates, June the 4th, July the 9th, and then August 20th. Okay, so the June and July meeting is just for our current members. The August one is everybody. So that's obviously post-training, post-branching, post-everything. So that's like our big, like our big meeting leading off into the fall. So it's something I wanted to ask you guys, because I don't want to overlap y'all's, you know, management training or GCLA that you guys have and everything. So I know I normally run these in the evening, but because it's summer and based on the people on our team right now, I'm thinking about moving those to just 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. versus 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. I just want to ask you guys if there's really any major objections to that at all, because I'm sure I could probably go to our current varsity JV level tiers and say we'll do 10 a.m. versus 4 p.m. and I'm pretty sure they'll be okay with that. So is there anything divisional wise I should know about during that time on those days that might overlap?
What day of the week is it is more of the question,
Sure.
not looking at all the,
Yeah. June 4th is on a Tuesday. July 9th is also on a Tuesday.
actually, I don't think there's any problem because the only thing on Tuesdays is the SLDMs. And the SLDM is a brand new rep and they go to it once. So I don't think that there's any conflict there.
And then just so you guys know, starting in August, this is just June and July meeting, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. from now on. And then starting in August and on, it will go back to that 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. And if I need to adjust a date prior to that because of GCLA, I obviously want to do so for you guys. So that way your people don't have to be in two places at once. So if you guys ever want the dates for the rest of the year, they're all on the team website. So if you guys haven't saved this yet, make sure to save this. It's just gckevents.com. There's a section on there called important dates. The monthly meetings are under what we call a traditional team. That's where like all the varsity JV level reps. All their meetings from now to the end of the year are on there. That way you have them. And obviously this doesn't apply to key event reps who are higher tier, so don't need to go through that. Okay, so that's going to be for team meetings. I'll go ahead and make that change.
Did you already add those to the divisional calendar that I had shared with you?
Cool. I didn't, let me check. No, maybe I have June the 4th. CSP morning work. They are on there, yes.
And Dante, real quick about these workshops, is there like a certain you said qualifications are what to be in attendance, or what would you like for them to be at 5K, 10K, like?
So the only good question. So the only requirement is that SC1 breakout, the one where I do the 5K workshop and the service call workshop.
Okay.
All these other workshops, I'm telling you guys, they could literally finish their first weekend and attend those during their fast start if you wanted to, which I would strongly recommend.
Cool.
And so here's, I know I'm way past my prime on being a manager at this point. My last office was in 2013 when I was in Cedar Park. We only, like I said, we only recruited like 40 reps, but we did like 150 grand, 140 grand or something like that. And we had like stability across the board. And what I would tell you guys is just do what I did, which is they would launch their first weekend. They would be at advanced training, and at advanced training, part of their deal was we put their team meeting in their schedule and they were required to attend 2 workshops per week. Now, back then we used to run them in the mornings and the evenings. So there wasn't a, I can't make it thing, but do what's best for you guys. I would just recommend that if you want to get people in the cycle of doing it every week, then add advanced training, get them scheduled. And then once that week ends, get them scheduled again, and so on and so forth. I can't speak for other people when they're running workshops, but I do feel very confident that the workshops I run will get good results and people will want to be back again. And so that I can definitely guarantee that part on my end, that I will make sure to run quality workshops for your people,
Thank you.
for sure. Okay, next part here is gonna be events training. So events training is gonna be on August 5th, because what I have here is SC2 is on August the 3rd, and I think it's all still combined again. I haven't asked about that part yet, but Kathy, do you happen to know if it's all combined still like before?
What is all combined, SC2?
Yeah, like Lone Star, Gulf Coast,
Yep,
Texas.
we're for sure gonna be over in Austin.
Cool, perfect, that's the best. And so that makes it easy, so that way you can obviously be in attendance for that part. So SC2 is on August 3rd. I know most people do like their management training stuff on the 4th or payoff day or something like that, or day at the lake. And then on the 5th, on that Monday, we're gonna have events training. Just so you guys know, events training, we started at 10 a.m. I put in the books from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. I usually get them out at 3 p.m., but you don't want to tell that to them just in case, we need extra time for whatever reason. Okay. So make sure you plan for that for your people. August the 5th is training, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And it'll be at the same conference as SC2 in Austin. Just so you guys know, it's only live attendance. So I just want to make sure to address that off the get-go. There is no Zoom option for this training. I know there's probably gonna, at some point in the summer, someone's gonna come to me saying they have this and that and the other they have to deal with. I'm like, totally get it, totally understand. What I find is that we promote it well enough in advance, and if people want to be there bad enough, there's a good probability they'll make it happen. And so I don't want to have the thing where people even have that Zoom option to be able to do that. They gotta be there live in person. So I hope you guys understand why that's so tough on that. But it is only live, make sure they're there. Okay, last thing here is gonna be the fall campaign. So what you do now as a manager is going to tee you up and greatly affect your fall numbers. So for you guys that are veterans, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but for a lot of you new guys that may or may not know this already, especially if you're gonna be a DM, or if you're a branch and you just want to set your people up for success going into the fall, however you fall into that bucket. I want to make sure that you guys know that if we do a great job recruiting and developing a good group of people this summer, by the time training comes around, again, I'll do my part. I'll get them to their first team meeting. Once they have their first team meeting, I'll be able to manage them month to month after that and help you guys with that aspect. Obviously, if they're on the events team, they're usually going to sell more. Now, this is one of those things where I'll probably make some changes in the fall with like getting kids to work more events or less events, depending on the person, whatever. But one of the biggest things I want to ask of you guys is that we have the same line of communication. So I always promote the management side of the business very strongly because I have a lot of conviction in the management side of the business. I just want to make sure that you guys do the same when it comes to events. The idea is that we want people gunning for both, because if they do both, they're going to make a lot of money, or if they're working, like they should make more money and keep selling in the fall because of the events program and being more consistent and stuff like that. And then on the management side, obviously that's a big pull for a lot of people to be excited because they get to run their own office, all that stuff, like a lot of you new guys are doing right now, or about to at least. So I ran some numbers and I've been kind of like looking forward later to the part of the fall, like November, December timeframe. And based on the amount of malls that we're trying to do this year, because I'm sure you guys know this, obviously, like Houston has some of the best malls out there, and like we're doing a great job, but we can do more. It's just the staffing has been the main issue so far. And so with that being said, like I'll invite guests from outside the division to help us staff some of these malls. Not like some of our established ones like Woodland, like we have no problem with those. It's more of like Memorial City. It's like that mall down in Lake Jackson, or like whatever it's called, Lake Jackson to Charles. I always get it mixed up. And a couple of handful malls. There's about 15 malls in Gulf Coast that we probably should be doing. And we only did 5 this last year. Like we couldn't do Post Oak this last year because we didn't have staffing. And I want us to change that this year. And we all have ebbs and flows with like our recruiting, but I know that there's a lot that we can do. But take out the malls for a second. This is an exercise I did pretty recently. where I looked at hypothetically, if we could staff every single show on our calendar those last 2 months of the year, not including the malls, what could we sell? The numbers are pretty astronomical. Now, really what it comes back to is going to be putting people in training. So based on our current staff, based on what I think we'll have at the end of the summer between like managers and stuff like that and guests and everything like that. It looks like the number is we need at least like minimum. If we can get minimum 20 kids from this summer in training in August. And these are people that like are going to be in Houston area in the fall. These are people that are going to work events, not where they come to training and they don't do anything. And it's one of those things like, it's great that she's on this call. So like Jackie, this is a great example. Love working with Jackie. But Jackie goes to school in New York, so she's not able to work as much with us as she would probably like to. Just that's the situation. And so the goal is that we want to have all the Jackies in the world to work with us. But at the same time, we also need to make sure that however many people we have in training this August, we want to make sure that about 20 of them are people that are going to be in Gulf Coast Division, like during the fall, and are excited to go out there and work as many events as they can get their hands on. If I can get that, it'll be a lot easier to staff things September, October, but more importantly, it's going to set us up for a bigger November and December. And if they have a big November and December, then that's going to set them up for a bigger spring, which is going to set them up for a better position when they run their office next summer. So I just want to make sure you guys understand like how far this timeline, like the domino really goes. And so this is one of my jobs, I feel like as a coordinator, is to basically share this with you guys. So the number I divvied up was about 20. We can get at least 20 people in August. And I think we're going to be in a good spot going into November and December. So hopefully I didn't go over my time too much here, Kathy, but that's everything I got for you guys. I am open for questions, or if there's anything I need to recap again, I'm all ears.
Cool. Thank you, sir. So questions, mainly from the vets, unless any youngins have any questions.
I have a question for you.
Yeah, we can open there. My one question was, are you expecting branches at the events team meeting in June and July? Like active open branches at those meetings, or are they starting back up in July or August? Just curious on your expectations there.
Yeah, valid question. So policy is super simple. If someone like a Rossi is planning on working events consistently while running his office, then he is going to be required to attend those monthly meetings still, which, everyone's in the loop of that. Other branch managers like a Morgan or whoever who's running her first branch and not really working a lot of events this summer, they don't have to be back until August 20th. So what I've told all the reps before they went to run their office is August 20th, the August meeting is your first meeting back. And so put that into your schedule, have a kick butt office this summer, and then we'll see you back then. And
if she, let's say Morgan wanted to work shows sooner, she can go to the July meeting and pick some shifts. I don't want them at the June 4th. Absolutely not.
100%.
We're recruiting mode. But July is a possibility for some, if not most of them, if that helps them get more shifts or, to finish off their summer, they're making straight 50 now. I think that's a positive thing in July.
Yeah, that's totally fine. If you guys run across someone in that situation who maybe want to have those branches come July and pick up some shifts in July and August timeframe, I'm all for it. So just so you guys know, at the May meeting last week, we had our summer shift picking. So the summer's been picked out from top to bottom at this point. There is still a lot of events that are left on the calendar that aren't fulfilled. And so if you run across that situation, just reach out to me and let me know the situation, and I'm all for it. I just want to make sure one, Kathy's okay with it, with this person. And then the other thing is knowing that they need to attend a meeting to start getting access to picking shifts again. So as long as they do that, all good.
Okay. Someone else had a question on here.
Okay, so
Go ahead.
Dante, so you just muted yours.
okay, cool. Dante, can you hear me?
Yeah, much better.
So big thing, if they, are we doing 10K or 15K this year to train?
Based on the roster, I'm okay with 10 if you guys are.
1 point. One more time for us.
If you guys are okay with it, I think we probably should do 10 one more time.
Alright, so we probably should do 10 one more time. If they hit 10 before the events training, can they start getting their field trainings in?
1000%, yes.
Okay, and then at the events training, are they gonna be picking shifts slash signing up for field trainings?
You said that training.
So at the events training and after SC2, right? They're gonna be signing up for their field trainings and or picking shifts at that time. They've got their field trainings done.
Yeah, so at training, they will be able to pick their field trainings if they haven't done them yet. So before they leave, I always make sure they stay and book their 2 field training shows. And so they'll have that. But if you have a kid who's already done his field training, then we can open up the calendar and let him pick through the end of August what's remaining. That's totally fine. But we
So
don't pick
guys running-
shifts for the fall. We don't pick shifts for the fall until August 20th.
Cool. So guys running offices, just make sure that your guys, like, you go through kind of with them what their weekends are looking like. So they know where to pick field training. It's not like they're field training on a week that you had a running training, right? Or something like that. Okay, cool. Thank you, Dante. And then just general update on where we're at versus last year on show stuff.
Yeah, let me pull up the updated ones. Let's see here. Oh, I will tell you, because I shared this with our team members, the top tiers and the lower tiers. We are currently at. One second. We definitely have done less shifts. Or less shows significantly from this time last year. So with this, oh, I'm actually glad you brought this up because it's probably applicable to a lot of you guys who have current team members right now. We're at about 246K so far. If we have the summer, I think we're gonna have, and the fall, I think we're gonna have, I think we could still sell 1.5, maybe more. I still keep pounding the pavement on like, we need to have a $2 million year. Like that's like the threshold of like the next milestone we need to get to. And so, but here's the thing, for point of reference, in the spring last year, we did 90 events. The spring this year, we only did like 50 events. And so a significant dip, like significant. And when I went to the team and I brought this to them, it just came down to a simple thing. And this is a part where if you guys can help me on this part, is I want to make sure the veterans know, like outside of like Danny and GC or LA and Frank and some of these guys, they work a lot of shifts. Like they actually work a decent amount of shows with us. What I've noticed is that there's a decent amount of people that just are not getting after it, meaning that they're just not picking as many shows as they really should be. And what has been shared with me is that if the show's not already proven, people won't go after it. And that's terrible. Like that's not a better way to say it, honestly, probably. So if you have people that are currently on the team, now by the way, Megan's great, Rossi's great, like they get after it, like they go pick shifts. However, there's a lot of other people on the team that just simply are not picking little to anything. And because the way they view it is like, if it's not a key event, I'm just not going to take it. It's not a great way to go about it. Angela's great at this too, actually. I forgot about her, but Angela picks a lot of shifts too. She actually sells a lot for the team. But pretty much outside of most of those names, there's a lot of people that just either take time off or they don't do it. And this is just, sharing with all of you guys. We had 3 CSPs not qualify for the key events tier going into the summer, who are long-standing members. And it's not hard to qualify. You only got to sell 40 grand in a campaign. Like for a CSP, that's like a good month. And so the idea is that we have definitely gone backwards in number of events completed, which has affected our sales a little bit. Luckily, our averages have been up, so that's kind of saved us. But the point being is that at the end of the day, if you have people on the team and they're active and working, they need to actually be active and working. And so get them to go out there and work these small events that cost $50 to $100 that people are going to do well at and well too. So long answer for you, Jacob, but yeah.
Thanks for the update.
For sure. And I gave both groups a good message about that and was very real with them. And I think it made an effect because they picked a lot of summer shifts.
With the lessening of key events people, Is there gonna be a scenario where maybe we don't lower the campaign requirement, but maybe the career sales requirement gets lowered to get more key events people that are selling 40K a summer?
Well, here's the thing. So career sales probably won't go down because it's only 150. And I don't feel good about having reps at like 50K or 100K that are getting access to our key events. Like that makes no sense. We can't do that. It's going to affect the shows. So the question becomes about the campaign number, which I don't know if there's time for this, Kathy, on the agenda for me to maybe answer this, I guess, directly or whatever. But the main thing is on a campaign basis, 40K is just at the end of the day really low to get access to the best shows, especially for a CSP. So I really don't see us lowering it below 40K campaign. It wouldn't make sense to do so. That simply comes down to like this person needs to get after it and get to work. Yeah, but I can't raise it at the same time. I can't raise it beyond 40 because it doesn't make sense to do so right now.
Thank you so much for your time, Dante. Everyone wave at Dante, say thank you, Dante.
Thank you.
For sure, I guess. Absolutely. You guys have been great and I'm ready for the summer. If you have questions.